Now it has been about 10 days since I've started using the Blloc Ratio launcher. In the first video that I made, we just went over how to install this thing on your phone and just the basic walkthrough of it. But now that I've been using this as my main launcher, which replaced my Nova Launcher Prime, here are a few things and a few updates from the company that you should probably know about. Well, first things first, this thing is no longer invite based. So when I first installed this, I think it was already a public version out there at that moment. But now they have released a Play Store version, meaning that you can just use the link down there in the description. You can download it from the Play Store itself. But you still need to use this link for some reason. I've left it in the description. But assuming you have already downloaded it on your phone, let me go over some of my favorite features as to why you should switch to this Ratio launcher as your main launcher. Okay, well, this is the general home screen as you know it. So these are all your different drawers. They'll contain applications which you can organize on your own. So you may notice that some of the applications have this yellow colored highlight. Well, you can basically do that. You just have to press and hold until it says release to edit. And once you release it, you'll get all these additional options that you can change about that individual icon. So you can change the highlight, which is this is my favorite yellow colored highlight, so you can easily find the apps that you most commonly use. You can set the orientation, and this is really cool. You can actually set the brightness according to what you want. So for example, if you use Twitter a lot, you can actually set a custom brightness for Twitter if you're using it at night. So you can go into the custom brightness toggle and switch it on by pressing this button here, and then you can set the brightness to whatever you want. So what it does is, so if I set it to 19%, it adds a layer on top of your screen. So if I open Twitter now, you can see the brightness went down. Let me show you again. See, that's the real brightness if I open Twitter. I'm not sure if you can see it on camera, but the brightness does go down because it's adding a layer on top of your screen, and it actually asks permission from you whether you can write on top of an app, because it's basically just a transparent window of black color on top of your app, and the brightness that you set there, it will be applied to the app itself. And this is one of my favorite features. You can actually set a fingerprint lock for any app that you want. So for example, if I want to lock Spotify, I just have to press and hold and enter into this edit mode. Then you have to, there's an option to enable fingerprint lock, which by default takes all the fingerprints that are registered on this particular device. So once you save it, you will see that every time I click on Spotify, it gives me this animation for a fingerprint. So when that animation is going on, I just have to press my finger against it and boom, the app launches. Now I don't usually lock my applications because only I use this phone, and anyway this phone has all the biometrics on the lock screen itself, so I don't really lock my apps. But in case you're one of those people who lock their WhatsApp, then this will be really useful. You don't need another application to do that. And I think you can notice here, each app that has been locked has a different kind of a texture on the animation compared to other applications. So I just locked Quick Memo, and I think you can see that Quick Memo has a fingerprint pattern on it compared to other applications. You really need to appreciate the small things that the designers have implemented here. It doesn't have a lot of amazing features, but these tiny design changes are the ones that distinguish this from all the other applications out there. Now you may be wondering, why are some apps bigger and some apps smaller? Well, you can actually change the size of it by again pressing and holding on one app and then move it around a little bit, so that it enters into this app resizing or app repositioning mode. And after that, if you just tap on the app, whichever app has extra features, they will be loaded here. So for example, if I go to Amazon Music and tap on it, so there are these helpful shortcuts for everything, like view activities on Instagram. Yeah, let's not view my activities on Instagram. For example, if I go to Power Amp and tap on it, so I'll get shortcuts for play and search. So if I click on that shortcut option there, it will directly take me to that particular screen. Really cool. Now once you opened up a bunch of drawers, you can just swipe down and release to close all of them. And conversely, if you can swipe down and let go, they'll open up back again. And there is a feature in the settings. If you press and hold on this icon in the bottom right corner, you will get a bunch of different modes, which we have briefly gone through in my previous video. But if you go into tile settings, you get this bunch of extra settings here: general settings, tiles, and root. So from here, basically you can check for updates and do some basic changes, like you can start onboarding other applications. You can change the permissions using a built-in permission manager, which is really cool, by the way. If you're paranoid about your privacy and security, then you can see what are the permissions that the block desk feature requires. If you want, you can grant that, or you can leave it disabled. The developers at Blloc have put really a lot of thought behind this, and I want you to use it properly. Like, really appreciate the design and don't just go, yeah, it's just a launcher with a black and white screen. I mean, yeah, it is a launcher with a black and white screen, but it has so much more thing to it. Now, one of the things that I personally missed from Nova Launcher when I first installed it was a double tap to screen sleep. So I didn't have that feature built in on my phone. Like when I double tap on my home screen, the phone would lock itself, but it was initially missing here, but turns out it is present. You can enable that setting such that you can double tap on any one of the folder names, or rather the drawer names, it will lock itself. So that works, and yeah, the biometrics still work. It's not that double tapping will force you to put your PIN. You can still use your biometrics after locking it like that. So that's really helpful. I mean, yes, the lock button works like this, but I don't like pressing around buttons and stuff. It's much easier to lock your phone like this. And of course, you can view the always on display and turn it on like this. Now, when you first install this thing, it automatically categorizes all the applications, but of course you can categorize it as you want. So if you want to edit any one of these drawers, you just have to press and hold until you get some options there. So here you will see an edit button. Click on that, and it will ask you for a biometric authentication, which only lasts for a few seconds. You have to do that again. So here, once you open the edit page of the drawer, you can add or remove applications which you want to put in that drawer. So if I don't want VLC under entertainment, I'll just remove it. So that will be removed from the drawer itself. Now, aside from the main home screen, if you swipe over to the left side, you will get something called the root. This is a very interesting screen. It's very similar to the customizable screens that you get on many of the other phones like Xiaomi or OnePlus. So you see a bunch of options down here which you can do a search for it. So Quant is actually a search engine which is very similar to Google, but if you don't want to use Google for the sake of your privacy or something, you can use Quant. You can basically search for anything here. It's kind of a universal search. There are some widgets also, like a timer widget. So you can quickly set a timer for 1 minute, and you'll get a tiny screen over here which will always be there if you go away. So you can pause it or reset it or start again. So that's really cool. A couple of other things, like there's a notes thing, so you can quickly take a note here. Now, unfortunately, it only supports a keyboard input, so it would have been cool if they allowed some kind of a S Pen based input, for phones like mine, which has a dedicated stylus like this. But this is meant for general phones anyway, so not all phones have a smart stylus built into them. So I guess it's fine. I mean, I already have plenty of built-in options with the Galaxy Note anyway, so this will be a useful extra option for me. Now again, on the right side, as I said, there's the tree option. So right now it's not enabled, and you can share this link with others so they can download it. So the more people download it, your rank will go up. As I mentioned earlier, you will get to try this feature early. It's one of those marketing tricks where the company is trying to get their product out to more people easily. But hey, the product is really, it's really amazing and it's free. So they are not trying to catch your data or do some crazy stuff like Google is doing. So yeah, might as well start using it anyway. You have an Android phone. So you know how you have that one game installed on your phone that you always think you'll play but you'll never play it? Yeah, that's what's going on here. And what's wrong with the name? Left versus right? What? Kind of reminds me of the Indian government. And there is this thing called focus mode, where if you don't want these boxes around these icons, you can just toggle the focus mode and that will take away those boxes, so it will look even cleaner. Now I prefer to have those boxes around them, but yeah, this is also a very clean look. So black and smooth. That's what she said. And there is of course an option to hide the applications that you don't want to use. So if you want to hide this or not have it visible on the launcher, you can do that. And of course, whenever you want to view those apps, there is the app box here, which contains all of your applications in one place. Yeah, this app box is basically my life in a nutshell. A lot of bad decisions. Okay, well, those were some of the things that I really liked about the Blloc Ratio launcher. As I mentioned, this is available for all Android phones now, so you can just download it from the description if you want. If you have any specific questions on this, let me know in the comments down below. I think I've covered most of them, but still, if you have some, let me know, I'll answer them. And with that said, until next time, take good care of yourself, and I'll see you soon. Cheers.